everyone, good afternoon. My name is Timola Akinlanu. I'm here again to give us another leadership gem that I know will be useful on our leadership journey and in leading great teams and building high impact teams. So today we'll be looking at an interesting topic which is about growth. How to measure growth in your team beyond the traditional KPI. I mean, for those of us who are in HR or who lead teams, we understand KPI as the key performance indexes. Those are like the metrics that we use in measuring our teams to ensure that they are becoming better and they're in alignment with the originally set goals and vision or whatever it is of the organization of the team. So today we'll be looking at other ways to measure growth, beyond the traditional KPI. There's a quote that says what you cannot measure, you cannot manage, which is very true. But I would also say that what you measure, yes, you can manage, but what gets ingrained, what gets understood by the team member, transforms. And I mean, would you'd agree with me that growth is about transformation? If there's no transformation, there is no growth. Growth is beyond performance. It's about development, where people are moving from one level to the other, and it's palpable. It's clear. They are developing, they are growing, just like a child. Beyond the increase in the age, you see them meeting milestones, growing taller, where we can measure it to say, oh, it used to be on 1.5, you moved to 1.6, meters, as the case may be. Most leaders measure results. We are result driven, which is very okay, result oriented, because that's why, the team is set up. But great leaders measure beyond results. They measure character, they measure capability, and they measure capacity, because that is how leaders are bettered. That is how leaders are maturate. That is how leaders are formed, beyond just our everyday performers, everyday team members. So, I would give us 5 dimensions of growth that we can measure to be sure that we are raising other leaders. Remember that a great leader the goal of a great leader is to raise other leaders, not just to raise performance and not just to deliver results. We also want to ensure that those delivering results are also, becoming leaders in their own right, in their own capacity. They're also growing, also handle and have their own teams that they are leading. That is our impact at the end of the day. So today we'll look at 5 dimensions, like I mentioned earlier. So I have the acronym PCBOC, where the first is about performance growth, the second is about competency growth, the third one is behavioral growth, we also have the ownership growth, and we have the capability growth. So what is performance growth? Performance growth is our traditional growth that most organizations measure, where we measure targets. For instance, those in the sales team, we want to ensure that are they able to meet up with their targets. Are they delivering results? The outcomes, does it tally with what was initially set? Are people able to deliver, as earlier stated, where we use our typical KPIs, based on what has been set and what the team member delivers eventually. That is where we have the performance growth, which is not bad after all, which is very critical, because at the end of the day, if team members are not delivering results, then there's no way the team or the organization, as the case maybe, will grow. So it's very critical that we're able to measure performance growth. But again, remember that we are not just raising performance, we are raising leaders. So we need to measure beyond the everyday and traditional results. We need to measure other things to be sure that our team members are also growing to become leaders. So I've spoken about the performance growth, then we're talking about the competency growth, where we are looking at the quality of decision making of the team member. Are they growing? Are they able to take better decisions? What is the error rate like? Is it reducing? Are they growing competence in, are they upskilling? And beyond when we talk about upskilling, it's beyond just acquiring skills. It's about, making use of those skill, ability to make use of those skills in their role. So we are measuring if they are upskilling, if they are honing their skills, they are becoming better at that. That's about the competency growth. Then we'll talk about the behavioral growth that has to do with character. Are they getting better in emotional intelligence? Is this person low in EQ or high? How is their communication like? Are they more proactive than being reactive? Are they more accountable? Do they uphold standards without reminders? We can use the tools you can use for this are the 360 degrees feedback, the peer review, where you get feedback from their colleagues. The 360 degree has to do with where the subordinate measures the supervisor, and vice versa. We're getting the holistic report across board. And the peer review is where, like I mentioned earlier, the colleagues measure one another. Then we go to the ownership growth. Ownership has to do with ownership is leadership. So you want to check, are they mentoring others actively? Are they more invested in their roles? With this, you see your subordinates, your team members, they bring more of solutions than problems, more of solutions than complaints. They are also interested in other people, their subordinates, ensuring that they are also growing alongside. Then the last one is the capability growth, where you are checking, can they handle more complex issues? Are they like I mentioned, it also has to do with the other one. Are they more invested? Can they lead small initiatives? Can you hand over things with them? Can you hand over tasks to them without following up on them? So at this level, they are able to think on their feet. What's the level of independent thinking? What solutions are they coming up with? So it's very critical that we are able to measure this. And once you see all of this in all of this improvement in your team members, you see that can be adopted, for this review. Of course, you have your one-on-one communication, the quarterly reviews or monthly reviews or biannual review, as the case may be, where you give feedback and you ensure that you get their own perspective. And you state the areas where they're doing well and areas they need to improve on. The one-on-one review is very important. We also have the red amber metrics, where red stands for needs improvement. The amber stands for this person has potential but still has one or two things to work on, and the green shows that this person has been consistent and is good to move from one level to the other. Also, we have the scorecard, where you highlight the previous expectations and juxtapose it with what's the outcome or the results at the end of the day. We also have, lastly, the shadow leadership, where you have metrics where you're able to measure if the team can function at least 80% without you. These are the tools that you can adopt to measure the 5 dimensions, where you can know, can this person handle more pressure? Are they more responsible? Are they more independent in their thinking? What's the quality of the decision they make? Do they have ownership spirit, where they are willing and ready to take on more responsibilities? What's that sense of responsibility like? And always remember that while it's good to measure performance, great leaders, beyond performance, they also ensure that they track all these other things. That is because that is how they can grow leaders. That is how they can have leaders emerge from their team. So as we go ahead on this leadership journey, I would encourage each and every leader out there to ensure to see that they measure beyond the traditional KPI. They're also able to measure other metrics, such that they are able to build leadership pipeline. They are able to grow other leaders, because at the end of the day, the major impact of any leader is the number of lives they can impact, the number of leaders they can grow, not just followers or subordinates. So thank you once again for listening to me. Have a good afternoon. Until next week, my name remains Tinola Akinlonu. Always remember to share, subscribe, and like. Have a good week.